Howdy folks, today we're going to be making low-carb home fries. And home fries aren't something that I grew up with. In my home, we had grits and hash browns and things like that. But eventually some restaurants that were national chains moved in and I found out about home fries. Um, Obviously they're normally made with potato. And potatoes are very high carb, so we're going to need something other than potato to use. And the potato is a pretty versatile vegetable. There are a lot of things you can do with it. And when you're finding low carb equivalents for it, it's important to pick the right equivalent. For example, spaghetti squash makes great low carb hash browns, but it wouldn't do it all for low carb home fries. So we need something else. And there's a surprisingly good equivalent. That equivalent is radishes. Now, bear in mind, if you don't eat radishes a lot, these are not horseradishes. They are not the bitter, sharp tasting ones. These are very mild. You'd find slices of these on many ordinary veggie trays at parties. They have a very mild flavor. And they have the same kind of almost russet colored skin that you find on a lot of home fries when they're chopped up. So the first thing we're going to do is chop up our radishes, and we'll be right back. And I've chopped up the radishes. They look almost like chopped up baby russet potatoes or something, which is the idea. One of the things about radishes is they are quite low carb. A cup of radishes chopped has about 2 grams of digestible carb. And this here is 2 cups, so this whole amount is 4 grams of digestible carbs. And as you can see, it's quite a lot. I'm not going to make this much. I'm going to make probably 1 cup of it, and then I'm going to put the other in a container in either the fridge or the freezer and save it to make another time. So we're off to a good low carb start. Now let's take a look at the other ingredients that we're going to use. We will be using some diced onions and also some diced bell pepper, and this will add some nice color as well as a southwestern feel to it. I'm going to be using the salt substitute I usually use, and I'm going to be adding parsley flakes. And because I'm going for a southwestern feel with this, I'm going to use a little bit of cilantro and also a little bit of cumin, our old friend black pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and also a little bit of hotter Mexican chili powder. And so let's get to cooking. Normally I cook with olive oil, but this time I'm going to be using butter, just because I think it'll give the whole thing a little bit more of a familiar potato-y and breakfasty feel. And so I'm just melting a pat of butter here. This is about, I don't know, if you have those short sticks of butter, this is a little bit less than half of one, so maybe 1/3 of one. And and it'll provide a nice medium in which to cook our potatoes. So I have the butter pretty much dissolved, and now I'm going to add half of our radishes. And by the way, the heat is on low here because we don't want to singe the butter or anything. Going to add in the onions. And I'm going to add in the diced peppers. It's already starting to smell really nice. Then I'm going to put in the spices. Here's our paprika. I don't know why they make the holes so small for paprika. I'm going to just take the lid off and put it in directly. I'm sorry, not paprika, parsley. And cilantro. A little bit of cumin. A little bit of black pepper, and I'm going to make sure and stir this all around. Just a bit of garlic, and just a bit of chili. Okay. Okay, now we've got it cooking nicely over. We're going to make sure it's on low, so Keep the heat quite low so the butter doesn't burn. And then we're going to cover it for just a few minutes and keep all of those wonderful smells and aromas and tastes of all the spices and onions and everything in there as the radishes soften up. Wow, this smells really good. Okay, we've had it cooking covered for just a few minutes on low, and now it's time to serve it up. While I had this skillet all hot and with butter in it, I decided to just pour in some egg whites and make myself some scrambled eggs so I could have some protein with this meal. So here we have it, low-carb home fries and scrambled eggs. A home-style breakfast fit for at least a domestic king of the castle. And one of the things to note, again, is this is very low carb. The radishes themselves have only 2 grams of digestible carbs. With the extra little bits of chopped onion and bell pepper I added, that might make it up to 3 or 4. The eggs have none. So a low carb breakfast for 3 or 4 carbs and lots of protein and taste and southwestern appeal. So there you have it. I normally don't do this, but I thought I'd add a video afterward. That recipe really hit the spot. I was impressed by that. It turned out even better than I expected. Once the radishes soften up in the cooking process, you really can't tell them from potatoes. So they make an excellent potato subject. I know it seems a little strange to use radishes in place of potatoes, but it worked out very well, and I'd encourage you to try it. Bon appetit!